These are the 7 bodies which we talked about in the earlier videos that are developed within a period of 49 years. This is why the midpoint of 50 years was known as the point of revolution. For the first 25 years, there was one system of life. Within this period, efforts were made to develop the first 4 bodies. Then, one's education was supposed to be complete. Then one was supposed to search for his 5th, 6th and 7th bodies throughout the remainder of his life. And in the remaining 25 years, he was expected to attain to the 7th body. Therefore, the age of 50 years was looked upon as a crucial year. At this time, a man became a vanaprasth, which only means that now he should turn his gaze towards the forest, that now he should turn his eyes away from the people, society and the marketplace. The age of 75 was yet another point of revolution when a man was to become initiated into sannyas. To turn toward the forest means to remove oneself from crowds and people. Sannyas means now the time has come to look beyond the ego, to transcend the ego. In the forest, the I will necessarily be with him, though he has renounced all else. But at the age of 75, this I too has to be renounced. However, the condition was that in one's life as a householder, one had to pass through and develop all the 7 bodies so that the rest of the journey would become spontaneous and joyful. If this is not done, it is very difficult because with every 7-year cycle, a particular state of development is connected. If the physical body of a child does not grow fully in the first 7 years of his life, he will always be sickly. At the most, we can see to it that he does not remain ill. But healthy he will never be, because his basic foundation for health that should have been formed in the first 7 years has been shaken. That which should have become strong and firm was disturbed, and that was the time for its development. It is just like laying the foundations for a house. If the foundations are weak, it will be difficult and almost impossible to repair it once the roof is reached, right? At the foundation stage only could it have been well laid. So in the first 7 years, if proper conditions are available for the first body, the body develops properly. Now, if the second body and the emotions do not develop fully over the next 7 years, a number of sex perversions result. Then it is very difficult to remedy these later. So the period of development for a particular body is most crucial. On each step of life, each body has its predetermined period of development. There may be a slight difference here and there, but that is beside the point. If a child does not develop sexually within 14 years, his whole life becomes a long ordeal. If the intellect does not develop by the time he is 21, there is very little chance of its developing at a later period. But so far, we are in agreement. We take care of the first body, then we take care to send the child to school to develop his intellect also. But we forget that the rest of the bodies also have their apportioned time, which if lost puts us in great difficulties. A man takes 50 years to develop the body he should have developed in 21 years. It is obvious that he does not have as much strength at 50 as he had at 21. So he has to put in a lot of effort. Then what would have been easier to accomplish at the age of 21 becomes long and arduous. There is yet another difficulty which he encounters. At the age of 21, he was right at the door, but he missed it. Now, over the following 30 years, he has been to so many places that he has lost sight of the right opening. His wandering now makes it impossible for him to locate the place where he stood at 21 and which then needed only a slight push to open. Therefore, a well-organized situation is required for children until they reach the age of 25. It should be so well planned that it takes them to the fourth body level. After the fourth body, the rest is easy. The foundation will then be well laid, so now only the fruits remain to grow. The tree is formed up to the fourth body. Then fruits begin to appear from the fifth, which culminate in the seventh. We may have to make a little allowance here and there, but we should be very mindful of the foundations. Now, in this respect, there are a few more things. There is a difference between man and woman throughout the first four bodies. For instance, if the individual is a man, his physical body is a male body. But his second body, the etheric body, which is behind the physical body, is feminine, because no negative or positive pole can exist by itself. A male body and a female body, masculine and a feminine, in the terms of electricity, are positive and negative bodies. The woman's physical body is negative, feminine. Therefore, she is never aggressive in the matter of sex. She can bear the violence of man in this respect, but cannot be violent herself. She can do nothing to a man without his consent. Man's first body is positive, masculine, which is aggressive. He can therefore do something aggressive to a woman without her consent. He has an aggressive first body. But by negative is not meant zero or absent. In terms of electricity, negative means receptivity, reservoir. In the woman's body, energy lies in reserve. Much energy lies in reserve, but it is not active, it is inactive. This is why a woman does not create anything. She yields. You might have observed that mostly women are not so popular in composing poetry or creating great painting or carrying out any major scientific research. This is because it is necessary to be aggressive for research or for some work of creation. She can wait and yield. That's her role, her life purpose. That is why she can only produce children. She yields to the sperm of the man. The creation energy is actually in the sperm, right? Man has a positive body. But wherever there is a positive body, there must be a negative body behind it, or else it cannot last. Both are present together. Then the circle is complete. So the second body of a man is feminine, whereas the second body of a female is masculine. This is why, and this is an interesting fact, man looks and is, as far as his physical body goes, very strong. But behind this outward strength stands a weak feminine body. This is why he manages to show his strength only for a few moments at a time. In the long run, he loses at the hands of the female, because the body behind her weak female body is a strong positive body, a masculine body. This is why a woman's power of resistance, her capacity to endure, is greater than a man's. If a man and a woman suffer from the same illness, the woman can endure it longer than the man. Women produce children. If men had to produce children, they would realize the ordeal that has to be passed through. then perhaps there would be no need for family planning, because man cannot bear so much pain for such a long time. For a moment or two, he can freak out in anger, beat a pillow perhaps, but he cannot carry a child in his abdomen for 9 months, nor bring him up patiently for years afterwards. If it cries all night long, he might strangle it. He will not be able to tolerate the disturbance. Jokes apart, he has extraordinary strength, but behind him is a frail, delicate, etheric body. Because of this, he cannot bear pain or discomfort. This is why women fall sick less than men. Their lifespan is also longer than that of men. This is because women have a great power of resistance that comes to them through the second masculine body. Now, it is to be noted that we can create a balance between the masculine and the feminine within us. That's a whole different topic, which I can share in some other video. Okay, so now the third body of the male, that is the astral body, will again be masculine, and the fourth or the psychic body will again be feminine. Just the reverse will be the case in the female. Now, this division of masculine and feminine exists only up to the fourth body. The fifth body is beyond sex or polarity. Therefore, as soon as the Atma is attained, there is no male and no female, but not until then. There is another thing. Since every male has a feminine body within him, and every female has a masculine body within her, which we see in the yin and yang symbol, if by coincidence a woman gets a husband or partner who is identical with the masculine body within her, or if a man marries a woman who is identical with the feminine body within him, the partnership can be for sure very successful, like in the sense of happily married, or satisfaction. This is one of the crucial reasons why marriages fail or unsuccessful, because the intrinsic rule of success is not known yet. As long as we are unable to ascertain the right alliance between the respective energy bodies of two persons, marriages are bound to remain a failure, no matter what steps we take in other directions. A boy or a girl who has reached up to the point of the awakening of the Kundalini finds it very easy to choose the right partner in life. With the full knowledge of all their bodies within, one can make the right choice outwardly. Therefore, those who knew insisted that the child should be made to develop his first 4 bodies in the first 25 years by maintaining brahmacharya, and then only could he marry. Because whom should he marry? With whom does he want to spend the rest of his life? Whom is he seeking? What man does a woman seek? She seeks the man within her. If by coincidence the right connections are made, then both the man and women are satisfied. Otherwise, dissatisfaction remains, and 1,000 perversions result from this. The man then goes to a prostitute or seeks the woman next door. His distress grows day by day, and this misery is bound to increase with the growth of man's intellect. If a person's growth stops at 14, he will not suffer this agony, because all suffering starts from the growth of the third body. If only the first 2 bodies are developed, the man would be satisfied only by sex. So there can be 2 ways. Either in the first 25 years during the period of brahmacharya, we should develop the child up to the 4th body. Or else The second way, this was the reason behind child marriages. Child marriage means marriage before the development of intellect, so that the person stagnates at sex. Then there is no trouble, as the relationship is actually entirely on the animal plane. The relationship of a child marriage is purely a sexual relationship. There is no possibility of love in it in the beginning. Later, sex can be transcended into love. Now, in places like America, where education has made great strides and where the third body has developed completely, marriages break. They are bound to, because the third body rebels at a wrong partnership. So divorce results because it is not possible to drag such marriages along. The correct form of education is that which develops the first four bodies. Right education is that which takes you up to the fourth body. Then the work of education is complete. No education can help you enter the fifth. You have to go there by yourself. Right education can easily take you up to the fourth body. After this, the growth of the fifth body, which is very valuable and personal, begins. Now I wanted to add a parting note here. A dialogue between a man and a woman. I want to learn how to open a woman, he said. She looked at him. First you have to learn how to feel into her, she replied. Well then teach me. Isn't there a type of tantric massage I can learn to do that? No, sweetheart, she said. You can only learn to feel into a woman by feeling into your own inner feminine. My what? How? Every time you feel lonely, you rush outwards, looking for company. When you feel sad, you rush outwards looking for entertainment. When you feel horny, you rush outwards looking for sex. And every single time you rush outwards, you neglect her, your inner feminine. Inside you there is so much depth, but you have never entered. There is pain you have never held. There is desire you have never witnessed. There is pleasure you cannot even in your wildest dreams imagine. That is the she. She lies within you, neglected and betrayed, unheard and unseen and abandoned again and again. She cannot open, blossom and shine unless you listen to her. She cannot awaken until you are present with her. How can you even think you can just open a woman outside of you when you have not opened the she within you? There is a vulnerability and depth yet to be matured within you. Yet you are hoping to open a woman? You think you can enter her when you have not entered your own inner realms? There is no trick, no tool, no technique. If you do anything at all, merely give up your actions. Stop following your desires. Pause for a moment and find what's at the root of your desires. Instead of losing all your focus and energy on the object of your desire, the roots will lead you into an inner world so vast you cannot believe it's there. Vast underground caves full of treasures. But you must choose. Choose to go down and in for once, instead of out, out and out. Then, my dear, then, after developing a loving relationship with your inner she, then you can open a woman. You will not even have to ask how. Well, that was all for this topic. The purpose is to share and spread love. God bless you in your beautiful journey of life. And thank you so much for listening. Have a good time.